It's the Tim Constantine Show.
You know, we've talked extensively on the show about September 11th and Benghazi. The next day we had John Bolton here. We were talking about all the details. What could this possibly have been? It seems kind of far-fetched that a YouTube video caused this. I remember raising the question at the time. I mean, I've traveled around the globe, and we forget here in the United States we have internet, we have high speed, we have broadband, you look something up and bingo, presto, within 1 second, it's there on the screen in front of you. That's not the way it is on most of planet Earth, and I guarantee you that's not the way it is in Benghazi. And so the idea that in Benghazi, Libya, they had all been surfing on the internet and had seen this YouTube video and become infuriated and went out to protest, and then that turned into gunfire, and that turned into grenade launchers, and pretty soon we had an incident going on that didn't add up, even on September 12th. When Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama were standing out in the Rose Garden telling us all what a good, close friend Chris Stephen had been and what a tremendous loss they felt and how awful this was, this act caused by a YouTube video. And the story went out starting the night of the incident. The story went out starting around 10 p.m. that night. We think that it was a YouTube video. We think they were infuriated. Matter of fact, you might remember the guy that produced the video was arrested like a week later. The guy may be awful. I don't know anything about him. But the idea that he was arrested as a fall guy for Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton absolutely slays me, kills me. How dare you put out this thing? Anyway, in the hearings that have ensued let me see now, that was September, so we have October, November, December, January, February. We're over 5 months now. And there have been hearings where we've heard from different people at the State Department, different people at the CIA, different people from Defense Department. Some of the most riveting turned into distraction. You know, David Petraeus, director of the CIA, disgraced and forced out because he liked a young chickie. Well, his testimony got a little watered down because of his affair and all the salacious news that went along with that. And then along came Hillary Clinton, only her testimony got delayed. And then along came Hillary Clinton, only that week she fell, and her testimony got delayed again. By the time Hillary Clinton came, it had been like 3.5, 4 months. The media has a very short attention span. They'd kind of forgotten about Benghazi. They didn't know anymore. And in fairness, even those Republicans who were trying to grill her, rather than simply ask a question, really struggled. And they had to all give speeches themselves, and they never really got around to asking the hard questions. And so Hillary Clinton kind of slithered out of those intelligence meetings untouched. So Leon Panetta came up, 10 days ago, and he gave his testimony. He was Secretary of Defense at the time. And so we heard from the CIA, we heard from the State Department, we heard from Defense Department, and what we heard was that none of them really talked to Obama that night. Nobody, the State Department, the Defense Department, and the CIA, they were not in direct contact with the president as these things were unfolding. And we all wondered, well, where the hell was the president? And then they said, well, we didn't really talk to Hillary that night either. The Defense Department said we had no conversation with Secretary Clinton. And you started wondering, well, who was in charge then? You have an international incident. You have a United States ambassador killed, and yet the Secretary of State and the President of the United States had no conversation with the CIA, who was directly involved in the incident, or the Department of Defense. Something here seems amiss, and we've talked about that ad nauseum, but why I bring it up now is it has just come out that President Barack Obama called Secretary Hillary Clinton that night, September 11th, at about 10 p.m., and they had a conversation. Now, that by itself should be refreshing, should be warming that, well, at least the president and the Secretary of State were in touch that something was going on. At least they weren't sleeping. Until you start doing the clock and you look at it and you realize the first story that leaked out of Washington, the first story that came from anyone in the administration that it was a YouTube video that had caused all this, came shortly after 10 p.m. You got it. The president and Hillary Clinton, by all sounds, got together and cooked up this story. Who's going to argue with them? It's confusion. It's utter chaos. And the president and Hillary Clinton get on that phone. They're talking at 10 o'clock. Oh, my God, Chris Stevens is dead. Oh, my goodness. Somebody is going to find out that we were dealing with Al-Qaeda, that we were trying to sell arms to Al-Qaeda representatives in Syria. They're going to find out something. They're going to find out whatever it is that the Obama administration is hiding. They're going to find out. We've got to cover this up. How are we going to distract the media from this? I got it. Hey, look. There's this really awful video out there about Muhammad. I just found it like 10 minutes ago on YouTube. Can't you see Hillary sitting at her computer on YouTube while she's talking to the president, typing in, tap, Muhammad, video, Muhammad, bad. Here's one. Wait a minute. Look at this guy, the guy that put this together. He's a felon. We got him. We've got it. Can't you just see them cooking that story up? And then they floated out there. Hillary calls somebody who calls somebody. Next thing you know, it's floating around in the media. President, I had no idea. The next morning, they give this press conference. They mention the YouTube video. The president skips his intelligence briefing. And it made no sense at the time. I remember wondering, wait a minute. The United States ambassador has just been killed. And you, though, are skipping your intelligence briefing? Why? Well, the reason is he knew the intelligence was bogus. The president realized the story that was floating around about YouTube was the only story that mattered, and whatever legitimate information, his intelligence team was of no use to him. He didn't care. And more importantly, he had a plane to catch. The president needed to fly that day to Las Vegas for a fundraiser. And indeed, he did.
It's the Tim Constantine Show.